1800 hours Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Aisha Nayab. First, the headlines. Prime Minister says government steps of granting voting rights and online issuance of the certificates of power of attorney and inheritance to overseas Pakistanis will have far-reaching impacts. President has stressed the need for further expanding and deepening economic and trade ties with New Zealand, Mexico, Ghana and Uganda. Senate was informed today that government has reduced sales tax and petroleum development levy on petroleum products to provide relief to the masses. Foreign Minister and Chairman Joint Chief of Staff Committee at a meeting in Islamabad today exchanged views on matters pertaining to national and regional security. Complete shutdown was observed in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir today to mark 38th martyrdom anniversary of prominent Kashmiri liberation leader Muhammad Maqbool Butt. In Pakistan Super League, Lahore Qalandar will face Multan Sultans in Lahore this evening. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Imran Khan says overseas Pakistanis are our precious asset and government is taking unprecedented steps to facilitate them. During a meeting of Russian digital accounts in Islamabad today, he said government's measures like granting voting rights to overseas Pakistanis and online issuance of certificates of power of attorney and inheritance will have far-reaching impact to their welfare and facilitation. The Prime Minister was apprised that remittances worth over $3 billion have so far been received through Russian digital accounts. Imran Khan directed the State Bank of Pakistan to provide online facilitation on real-time basis to overseas Pakistanis for sending their money to Pakistan. He also instructed the concerned authorities to launch an effective marketing campaign to convince overseas Pakistanis to use Russian digital accounts. Prime Minister Imran Khan paid a surprise visit to the under-construction apartments of a Naya Pakistan housing program in G13 sector of Islamabad today. The Prime Minister reviewed the progress of the ongoing project and directed its early completion. The Naya Pakistan housing program is aimed at providing affordable residence to people. President Dr. Arif Alvi says Pakistan is a very important country with over 220 million population and enormous potential for trade and investment. He stated this after separate call on meetings with the High Commissioners Designate of New Zealand, Uganda, Mexico and Ghana in Islamabad today. The President highlighted the need for further expanding and deepening economic and trade ties with New Zealand, Mexico, Ghana and Uganda. He also asked the envoys to encourage the businessmen of their countries to take advantage of the business-friendly environment and invest in Pakistan. Congratulating the envoys on their appointments, the President expressed the hope that they would make efforts to further broaden bilateral relations with Pakistan in different fields. Earlier, the newly appointed non-resident envoys of New Mexico, New Zealand, Mexico, Ghana and Uganda presented their credentials to President Dr. Arif Alvi. The Senate was informed today that Pakistan will start using Saudi oil facility on deferred payment from next month. Finance Minister Shaukat Tareen told the House during question hour that government has tried not to pass on to people the full burden of international increase in petroleum products. He said, "We have reduced sales tax and petroleum development levy on petroleum products to provide relief to the masses." The Finance Minister said foreign exchange reserves of State Bank of Pakistan have increased over the last 1 year, which will help reduce pressure on the rupee. He said country's exports and remittances are increasing, whilst the trade deficit reduced by $1.5 billion last month. Responding to a supplementary question, Finance Minister said Pakistan has met 27 out of 28 conditions of Financial Action Task Force. He hoped that country will come out of the grey list in the next review meeting of FATF. Minister for Science and Technology Shibli Faraz told the House that Punjab and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa governments have started important projects for provision of clean drinking water. Minister of State for Parliamentary Affairs Ali Muhammad Khan said several projects worth billions of rupees have been launched for the development of Balochistan and Gwadar. Pakistan has set another record of 2.24 million vaccinations in a day across the country. In a tweet today, Planning Minister Asad Umar said over 22 million people have been vaccinated daily for the last 4 days against coronavirus. He said every 3 out of 4 Pakistanis eligible for vaccination have received at least one dose. The minister said nearly 58% people are fully vaccinated. Minister of State for Information and Broadcasting Farooq Habib says with the efforts of Prime Minister Imran Khan, more than 40 million families will be able to get free treatment up to 1 million rupees through National Health Card. In a tweet today, he said 180 million people from Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Punjab, Azad Jammu and Kashmir, Gilgit-Baltistan and Tharpaka will get benefit from this facility. This is Radio Pakistan. Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi today visited Joint Staff Headquarters Rawalpindi and held a meeting with Chairman Joint Chiefs of Staff Committee General Nadeem Raza. During the meeting, they exchanged views on matters pertaining to national and regional security. Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi says Pakistan, as a member of International Labour Organization, will continue to support important global priorities like combating social and economic inequalities. He was talking to South Korea's candidate for Director General, International Labour Organization Kang Kyung-ye, who called on the Foreign Minister in Islamabad today. The Foreign Minister said the COVID-19 pandemic adversely affected the employees, workers and employers globally, and now a fair developmental financing and vaccine equity will help revive the global economy. Fourth and last cycle of the training of former personnel of Khasadar and levies by Pakistan Army and FC was concluded in the tribal districts of Bajor, Mahmud and Khyber. According to ISPR, these individuals will now form part of regular police force of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. This program was part of government policy under which 20,000 personnel from former Khasadar and levies of the newly merged districts were imparted training under the supervision of Pakistan Army and FC. The training was conducted in different fields including use of different weapons, mines, IED, detection methods, public dealing, policy, search operation, counter-terrorism operations and physical fitness. In Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, complete shutdown was observed today to mark the 38th martyrdom anniversary of prominent Kashmiri leader Muhammad Maqbul Bhatt. Call for the shutdown was given by all parties Hurriyat Conference Chairman Musarat Alam Bhatt, Mirwais Umar Farooq and Jammu and Kashmir Liberation Front. India has hanged Muhammad Maqbul Bhatt in New Delhi's Tihar jail on 11th February in 1984 for his leading role in the Kashmiris' ongoing freedom movement and buried him in the premises of the prison. The United States President Joe Biden has urged United States citizens in Ukraine to leave the country immediately amid Russian invasion threat. In an interview, he warned that things could go crazy quickly in the region. President Biden said that under no circumstances he would send U.S. troops to Ukraine, even to rescue U.S. citizens in the case of a Russian invasion. German, Russian, Ukrainian and French representatives have agreed to meet again next month to discuss Ukraine issue. Earlier, participants from all 4 countries at their meeting in Berlin were committed to the 2015 Minsk peace agreement between Kyiv and Moscow. In the 7th edition of Pakistan Super League in Lahore, Lahore Qalandars will face Multan Sultans this evening. The match will begin at 7:30 p.m. And finally, the weather. Mainly cold and dry weather is expected in most parts of the country during the next 12 hours. Now some of the headlines once again. Prime Minister says the government steps of granting voting rights and online issuance of the certificates of power of attorney and inheritance to overseas Pakistanis will have far-reaching impact. President has stressed the need for further expanding and deepening economic and trade ties with New Zealand, Mexico, Ghana and Uganda. And that is the end of the news. For more news and analysis, log on to our website radio.gov.pk and also watch live video streaming of our bulletin on the link facebook.com Radio Pakistan, Pakistan News Official.